Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Iron Thunder Racing League podcast. I believe this is part two or part three of the Thunder series. We haven't done one in a long time, but we're here live. I've got my co-host Dylan Hale, Alex Little, and Chris Gale up in the booth. We're just going to come here and talk a little bit about iRacing, Iron Thunder Racing League. We've got the Premier Series championship race tonight, as well as we've got the ARCA series currently going on. So we're going to talk a little bit about everything. But first, welcome in, guys.
Why, thanks.
Thank you.
That is Alex Little, driver of the number 2 Ford Mustang for GCOM, and driver of number 42 Toyota for CGI, Chris Gale. And also Dylan Hale, he's over here being a producer tonight, so he's working hard for us. But anyway, yeah, let's just jump right into it. It's been a crazy season so far. A lot of racing, a lot of laps have been turned. There's been some ups and some downs. We started out Daytona, obviously. Um, kind of how it usually goes. A lot of big wrecks and a crazy finish. Chris Gale, you came away with that win, and it's been a long time since then. Back at literally the beginning of the year, in January, a couple months back, 4 months back, seems like a totally different time at that point with everything going on. But anyway, man, yeah, just talk about a little about the Daytona 250 win. That's our biggest race of the year. Get yourself locked in the playoffs that early, and your season since then.
Wow, that race was wild. Uh, man, the CGI team created a great car. I'm gonna just go out and say it. I lucked into that win. Like we were on fumes. Like I believe it was you, myself. We were on the same pit strategy. We got the cautions when we needed to, and coming to the line, if we didn't get that caution, I was gonna run out of gas and probably finish in the back. But they wrecked on the backstretch, and then we wrecked again in what coming to the line to white for the white flag, and that gave the win to me. That's crazy because if you look at it, the way from the iRacing was telling me to let Sean Bundy by, but his car was destroyed, so he had to tow, and I was given the win. Lucked into a win. Daytona.
Well, I mean, you know, Daytona or restricted plate racing in general, it normally requires a little bit of luck, and it's part of the game. But you definitely put yourself in the right position there, and that's all you can do. Like you said, I was I thought I put myself in the right position in that race, and yeah, I was just one green white checker short. I needed it to end on that second one, but the third one I did not have enough gas, and you did, and man, with the wrecks and the cautions and the way those things play out, especially at those big tracks, it's just right place, right time. And you get the big check, the big trophy, and that's just how it goes. But you got to survive the first 249 miles to get to that point and not take yourself out of the race. But that was a great win and a big win for the Haviline Toyota and the whole CGI group, especially after winning the race at Talladega last year. Kind of asserting yourself as one of the best restricted plate racers in the league, having two wins, both Daytona and Talladega. So I know that was a big win for y'all. And but yeah, since then I know you had a little bit, you had some other success during the season, and then ultimately made the playoffs. And but go on a little bit from there.
Man, our luck was we ran out of luck. We used up all that luck in that Daytona race. I couldn't buy a top five, but as soon as we missed the first round, which was kind of disappointing, but we said finish out the season strong, which we did, and I think got our first top five in like I don't know 6 weeks at Bristol. So I was real proud of that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Coming off that strong third place finish at Bristol, you've always been good at Bristol. I know you won the ITRL Truck Series race there at Bristol. But yeah, it was first top five since the playoffs beginner at Darlington, where you finished fifth. So it's been an up and down season. I think for the 42 cars, not what we're used to seeing. You made the final four, I believe your first season, but been a strong year nonetheless with the win. But let's move on. I guess we'll head to the next or a little bit the next races in the season. We had Kansas. I don't know if Ryan Peplinski is in the chat. But also, by the way, anybody listening, drivers, If you want to be interviewed or come chat on the podcast, just hop in Discord and we'll see you down there and we'll get you pulled up. And we'll hit some interviews here in a little bit. But yeah, we hit Kansas for the second race of the season. Dalton Tucker took his first pole of the year, and Peplinski kind of pulled off an upset win. I mean, Peplinski ran one race with us last year. I think at Daytona in the opener, and then we didn't see him again for a while. But yeah, he came out of the gate, and see Daytona really didn't do so hot at Daytona, but he came out of Kansas, won Kansas, locked himself into playoffs really early, just like Chris did, and pretty tame race there. And then we moved on to Indy, where pretty much the Dalton Tucker show, and we got the first taste of what the 88 car was capable of, getting the pole, dominate, leading the most laps, and getting the win there at the Brickyard. And kind of asserted himself as one of the season favorites, along with Peplinski and Gale. And then we head to Charlotte, and Coley wins there. Another, like, a lot of first time winners. It's very unusual. The season 4 has been. We've had 4 really strong rookies just come out of the gate like that. Getting first time winners, Peplinski, Tucker, Coley. That's kind of something different we haven't seen in the past, but it's still good. That means that's good growth for the league, as well as Sean Bounty, who would win a couple weeks later after Talladega. That was a crazy race at Talladega. A lot of wrecks and wrecking on the white flag, and I think Donald Sadusky took the white flag in about 9th place or maybe 10th place, and came out on top with the win there on the final lap with some chaos. But really, like, that's kind of, to me, the middle part, the heat of the season when you get to that Talladega race, and then you go to a road course where Sean was able to beat one of the best, I think, arguably easily, in the league, Eric Drapeau. He was able to outduel him in Canada, of all places, and get the win there. I think that's really kind of when the season starts getting serious. You're 5 races in, and everybody's looking at the points and trying to make the playoffs and get a win. Yep. So once we left Canada, that was a tough race. I know all of us remember that pretty well. Very treacherous, but we went to Martinsville, and Storm Patterson was able to pull off the win there, and I think we can go ahead and pull him up and get an interview in with him. But yeah, so we're just talking about the Ionic Batteries 200 back in February at Martinsville Speedway, second to last race of the regular season, and Mr. Storm Patterson pulls into victory lane. So Storm, welcome to the podcast, and just talk to us a little bit about your season and that race in particular that you won, the first race of season 4.
Hey guys, good to be here. Yeah, Martinsville was a hell of a race, to be honest. We went into that week, we felt pretty confident. We were still running the Rush Series then too, so we had a chance to win the Rush Series race, and we kind of choked that up. So when you're going into the Premier Series one, we were probably gonna have a good chance to cop the dub in that one, and we did. But yeah, this has probably been my best Premier Series season by far. Daytona, we started out P4, I think, there. I don't know how I finished P4 there. Kind of used up a lot of luck going from P19, I think, on that last restart to them all junking it in the dog leg and finishing P4. But yeah, it's been one hell of a season. We had a little bit of a fall off there from like Indy to maybe 4 races. So, but yeah, besides that little gap, it was a pretty good season.
Yeah, just kind of looking at the past, or your records, and you got that win. You weren't here for season 1, but your rookie season was season 2, and you got the Rookie of the Year honors that season. You were able to get that first win in the season finale. You weren't championship eligible, but you did get the win at Las Vegas. Sealed the deal, and then last season kind of, I feel like, fell off a little bit. Maybe didn't get back to victory lane, but you still were solid, and I think you finished like top 5 or 6 in points. But you come back this year, get that big win at Martinsville. Then you back it up with Richmond, which we'll get to that in a little bit. But 2 short track wins on the year already. Still got a chance to go get a 3rd win at Texas tonight. Definitely your best season by far. And from season 2 to season 3, and then back for season 4, definitely a big improvement. I know CGI, Chris, and everybody over there, they've been very happy with the performance. And hopefully, I hope to see you back in season 5, and I'm sure you'll be very, very competitive.
Yeah, we definitely will be. Speaking on season 3, yeah, that was we felt very solid there. Like we had speed week to week, but we just couldn't seem to really finish races. But yeah, this year, like you said, by far the best statistical year by far. Could have had 3 wins at Watkins Glen, but things happened there. Yeah, it's been a great season. Happy to end it off at Texas here. Maybe get 3rd win of the season. Um, but yeah, gotta give a thanks to Gail and all them. Definitely been a big help through the improvement process. Period.
Yeah, man, the future champion in the making right there.
You just got to make it out of that first round for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of recap, man. Truck Series champion. What'd you have? I think 2 wins on that season, maybe 3. Had a win at the road course in the Rush Series, and then they got 2 wins in the Cup Series. So definitely come a long way. But I know you're striving for more. Didn't make that round of 8, but you're still sitting 5th in points right now. Best we can do, any of us can do that didn't make the Final Four, but 2 wins, 4 top 5s, and 7 top 10s. Definitely a good season to hang your hat on and build on for next year.
Yeah, definitely was disappointing to get knocked out of that first round, but as long as we can finish P5, I mean, I'm not too disappointed with that. We'll go get.
Hey Sawyer, going back to the second seasons for these rookie drivers, that sophomore slump, are we going to see the likes of Sean Boundy and some of the good drivers fall off in that second season?
I don't know, Chris. That's actually a really good question. I mean,
Why would you
we've
say
had such a
something
good.
like that? That's like jinxing them now.
Yeah, now he's gonna win the championship.
No, I don't think. Well, we've never really seen a rookie class quite like this. I can't speak. Hopefully, we see them back. That's still kind of up in the air, but they've all, talking about, I guess, the big 4. You could really call them in the rookie side. The Peplinski, Tucker, Cully, and Bounty. They've kind of. I mean, they've all won in their first year, so they definitely they have what it takes. But I don't know. I don't see a fall off, to be honest. I mean, unless something changes with this package or the way iRacing's got, tires, they change, things change all the time. So, I mean, they seem to have a grip around what's going on, like how it works right now. So maybe they can stay with it. Maybe they'll get even better. Who knows? I mean, we talk about sophomore slumps, but I look at Roger Diebold. He's a sophomore. Rookie season last year only had like maybe 1 or 2 top 10s, like 25th in points. Well, then his second year he comes out and he's in the Final Four right now. Got the win at Kentucky. Which is the next race on the season, which we'll pull him up here in a second. But 6 top 5s and 8 top 10s. I mean, that's almost saying that maybe your second year you're going to get even better if you look at his case. And not everybody's like that, but I think these guys, man, they're good enough. The 34 car, the 33, the 37, the 88. They've put up the numbers this year, so I don't know. I don't know if we'll see a fall off or not. I mean, we'll be told, I guess, when we get season 5 started. But that's definitely a good question, a good point. So anyway, talked about Martinsville. We'll go to the regular season finale next. The Ryan Sadusky Memorial 200 at Kentucky Speedway on February 25th. We'll pull up the winner. The winner of that race, the Kentucky race there, race 8 of the season, regular season finale. Had a tight points battle for the top 16 there, but Roger Diebold was not worried about points. He was comfortably locked in, but he still went out there and got the dub, locked himself in, got some playoff points, and so hey Roger, welcome to the podcast, and yeah, just talk a little bit about your race that night, and then pretty much your whole season to this point.
Uh, Kentucky. Kentucky was just right place, right time, and I guess that owns up to the statement that it's better to be lucky than good sometimes. No, I mean, for the most part, this season's I just came out, and it's good to be a part of JCOM. I know they're a strong team, and I appreciate you for bringing me on, and it's just been fun. I've just been trying to do the best I can and stay out of trouble, and just kind of see where I wind up. And then all of a sudden I made the first round of playoffs, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll just keep going then. I guess see how long we can make it. And here I am now in the Final Four, and I'm currently my iRacing, I guess, expired this weekend, so I'm renewing that right now. But no, it's been fun. It's been fun every race. I thought I had it in Watkins Glen, but I just came up a little bit short. And I mean, it's been good. No complaints out of me so far.
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit earlier. Gail brought up we're talking about the rookies this year. Peplinski and Cully and Bounty and Tucker being so dominant. Would we see them have like a sophomore slump next year? And I kind of pointed to you as well. Maybe the second year makes you a little bit better, just being from last year. I mean, we're good friends in real life, so I figured you just started iRacing and you were getting better in that period of time. You had the potential. We had a spot, so when I bring you on, and then like you said, you've kind of blown us out of the water. I mean, 5th at Daytona right out of the gate. That was really good. You kind of fell off a little bit. 5th at Charlotte, and then really you didn't finish in the top 10 until Kentucky. But then when you started the playoffs, it just kind of lit it up with a 6th at Darlington, another 5th at Talladega. Not so hot at Homestead, but it was enough to get to the next round. And then you come out in the second round, the round of 8. I mean, in my opinion, the most crucial round, just the hardest round to get through. But you come out 8th at Richmond, 2nd at Watkins Glen, so close to getting that win there. Just one, like 200 feet of gas difference, and then he followed up with 5th at Bristol, which was enough to get you in the Final Four. So definitely coming on hot here lately. I mean, 5 top 10s and like the first 6 playoff races, you're doing pretty good. Second seed going into the end of Texas. I mean, none of that matters. They're all even with points, but I know you're up to the challenge, and it's going to be a crazy race tonight.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Roger, quick question.
Yeah.
Who do you see as the biggest opposition for tonight?
Dude, I really don't know. Everybody. I mean, I haven't. I've been racing with them. All season. I didn't really pay attention. To who was doing what last season, and this season I've been so focused on just trying to keep my own fenders on it and keep from wrecking myself and everybody else. And then all of a sudden I'm here in the playoffs, so I haven't been really focused on how everybody else is doing any more than how I've been doing, and just trying to get myself there. Basically, I was like, you know what, I'll get myself there and then worry about it when we get to Texas. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like Ray's going to be tough because he's the defending champion, but Sean's been up there doing good every race and been running strong. So, and then Coley, it's like same thing like Coley. It's like everywhere I turn, every racetrack, I'm always racing up against Coley for some reason. I don't know how we find each other or what circumstances lead to it, but it seems like I'm always racing around Coley. So, I mean, it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough to be racing with these guys, and it's going to be cool.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to tonight's action, and it's been just. I mean, you look back at all the races, we've had a lot of a lot of highlights, and maybe some lowlights, Darlington in particular, but we started that season out a lot of cars, a lot of wrecks. I think because of the field size, and we chose to take away the quick fix there pretty early, and I think everybody would agree that it turned it around pretty fast. We went from having over 10 cautions raced to like less than 5. So
yeah,
that's definitely something.
And that was I feel like that was really a good move just in general for the league, just to improve the the racing experience, because now it's it tightens it up. It's like, oh well, crap, now there is no quick fix, there's no reset. It's if I'm done, I'm done, I'm out. So I think it kind of sent the message to everybody to just clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it definitely improved the etiquette, and some people didn't like that, and they're not here anymore, and maybe that helped also. I don't know. It seems like when we're in that 35 to 40 to 43 car range, we just happen to have a little more chaos on the track. But when we get down to that 30 car range, it seems to be a little bit better, which that's kind of where it's hovered around the last couple of weeks. But especially last week, I think last week was a big testament, and I don't want to get a little too far ahead of myself just yet, but we still have the playoffs to cover, the first round. So we had the top 16 after Kentucky. Roger wins. Pretty dramatic race as well. You said you look. I mean, I hate saying luck into a win because you got to be in that. You're still ahead of everybody else behind you that could have lucked into that win, but they didn't luck into that win because they weren't in the right spot. So I think you put yourself in the right spot. Things happened. I think Treston and Dalton had gotten together and late race restart. And anyway, chaos. But exciting race with fans. Roger Diebold gets his first career win. And we head into the season 4 of the ITRL Premier Series playoffs. Dalton Tucker was on top with the most playoff points after the reset, joined by Sean Bounty, Josh Cully, Roger Diebold. Interesting that 3 of those top 4 seeds originally ended up making it to the final 4. And Storm, you're 5th. Kelvin Mosier was 6th. Donald Sadusky 7th. Gail, you were 8th. Ryan Paplinski was the 9th seed. 10th was Eric Drapeau. 11th, Kevin Hash. 12th, Brandon Klusterhuis. Raymond Rittenauer was 13th. Myself, Sawyer Ott was 14th. Treston Ott was 15th. And Scott Wise was 16th and final playoff contender. We headed to Darlington. Pretty eventful night that one was. Dalton Tucker took the pole. I think he swept both stages, led the most laps, and in a nutshell, ran out of gas coming out of turn 4. And I don't know if he tried to block or he's trying to get in the way or what exactly happened, but he and the 33 of Josh Cully make contact coming to the start-finish line on the front stretch, and Cully wins it, I think sliding backwards after ricocheting off the inside wall. And it was a pretty tough deal, weird deal. A lot of people weren't happy. But Cully ultimately, like I said, walks away with the win, locks himself into the next round, so he doesn't have to worry about Talladega next week. And by to know oneself into round 2, and then we get to Homestead, which Dalton, after the Darlington incident, had a penalty, so he had to come back from, and ultimately had to win Homestead. And sure enough, he went out there after Dave Matson got the pole, and Dalton Tucker captured the win in the Miami Knights 200 at Homestead. And then after that, we have our final 8 who made it into the second round of the playoffs, which was Treston Ott, Ryan Paplinski, Kelvin Mosier, Dalton Tucker, and then our final 4, obviously Ray Rittenauer, Roger Diebold, Josh Cully, and Sean Bounty. Which in my opinion, y'all can chime in on at this point. I think that the round of 8 was my favorite part of the season, just with 2 short tracks and a road course. We had a lot of good racing at Richmond, a lot of green flag runs. Obviously, Watkins Glen is a animal in itself, and then Bristol to put on that what we did last week with very few cautions. It's at the hardest track on iRacing as far as like getting green flag runs. It was a great round, I think. Storm obviously came out at Richmond and spoiled the party. And then Roger came up just a little bit short at Watkins Glen, and Sean Bounty got his second win of the year there. And then last week, newcomer, new to the league at least, Cup Series driver Kyle Weatherman got the pole, led the most laps, and won the race at Bristol. But not being a playoff driver, that opened up 3 spots for the final 4, Roger, Josh, and Ray getting in with Sean, who punched his ticket at Watkins. So, yeah, guys, if y'all want to chime in, just talk about the last 3 weeks, the round of 8 in particular, just go ahead.
Yeah, what? Kyle was the 5th rookie to win this season?
Yes.
That's amazing. That shows that the rookie class was amazing this year. It's going to be pretty hard to top it next season, but I have a feeling you're going to get some really fast guys coming in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like I feel like the rookie class was, just as hard to, just as hard of racing as the guys that have been in the senior, and the sophomore and everybody else that's been a part of it. They were putting up just as much of a fight as everybody else, and it was kind of surprising. And they came in and were like, "Oh crap, these guys are fast." Now we got more people to race hard against. Usually, when you get a rookie class, they're, riding around in the back and trying not to. At least, I speak from experience. My rookie class, I came out and I was like, hey, I just don't want to be in anybody's way, and I'll just see where I end up. And I think I ended up like 24th or something like that in the points in my rookie season. And then now here we are at Texas this season. So
yeah, just to touch on the rookie class, I mean, it's, obviously the first season we don't have a rookie class. The second season, we brought in a couple guys, Storm included. I think we had about a 8 to 10 class rookie, or 8 to 10 car rookie class, and Storm came out on top that year as the rookie of the year. But he only had one win, which was in the finale. So no other rookie had won except for Storm. And then last year, or season 3, we had a really good battle with Trestonot and Matt Quick, who had both made the playoffs as a rookie. And then Treston got his win at Kansas. And so only 2 rookies had won a race to that point, because Matt Quick did not win a race. He was competitive, but got close, finished second, I think, a couple times. But down past that, I think uh, it was still about a 10, maybe 12 driver field. And then you get to this year. Um, I'm looking at it right now. There's 18, which not all of these are going to be. Not all of these have fulfilled their minimum rookie requirements. Which what that means is you have to run at least 7 races, which is about half the season. That's 15 total. So if you run at least 7 or more, then you lose your rookie eligibility. So if you run 6 or less, which some of these guys have and won't even eclipse, like Kyle Weatherman, he'll hit his 5th race tonight, even though he has that win. Assuming he comes back next year, he'll still be able to run for Rookie of the Year. Um, you know the title, as well as Bailey Curry, who had won a stage at Bristol as well. And like you're just talking about overall, rookie class contenders. I mean, we had the Sean and Josh and Ryan and Dalton who made the playoffs, won races. 3 of them won multiple races, lots of top 5s, lots of top 10s, poles, stage wins. But then another one I want to bring up is Tony Costantino, who's 5th in the rookie standings right now. He did not make the playoffs, but I mean, he has been putting up some numbers: 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s, got a stage win at Richmond, led a lot of laps. He's had a lot of good runs in other cars that he didn't get credit for or didn't get points for. So I think he definitely, had he run the whole season, had the chance to, he did miss some races, but run all the races in his car, I think he definitely would have been a playoff contender, especially how fast he's been running lately. He's sitting solidly 5th in the rookie standing, 21st in regular season points. And then Daniel Atkins as well. He's sitting there 6th. So those guys, as well as George Balfans, Chris Cabot, Bailey Curry, Josh Mayu, they've been knocking off some top 10s. They haven't been putting up the numbers that the guys that are in the Final Four, but top 5s, top 10s here and there. That's really good for a rookie. I think coming in, most rookies, like you said, Roger, were kind of a little bit on the backside, or newer to iRacing in general. I think that has a big factor. Is that I've raced with Josh Cully and Sean Bounty and Peplinski before, years before in other leagues, so they weren't necessarily new to iRacing. They were just new to the league, where you were kind of new to iRacing in general last season. So I think that plays a factor, but nonetheless, strong rookie class, and it's gonna be interesting to see the rookie class next year. Like if Bailey and Kyle were to come back, they'd definitely kind of be the favorites already in mind from this point.
The one thing I do have to say about this rookie class, it reminds me so much of the 2006 rookie class in real life. Think about it. You have winners and multiple winners in this rookie class. 2006, you take a look at it in real life, you had Denny Hamlin and Clint Boyer and whatnot. Those guys are still racing today. And if we go ahead and this league continues on into the future, these guys could potentially become the stars of the league.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good comparison. I mean, 2000. Don't forget about Martin Truex, champion there. As well as, I mean, they're not here anymore, but David Reagan and Paul Menard, Juan Pablo Montoya, AJ Allmendinger, all they won races. So definitely a good comparison. I think Sean. I've known Sean for a couple years, pretty much since I started iRacing and from other leagues. But I hope to see him come back. He's obviously been really strong, and I've gotten to know Josh Cully and Ryan Peplinski really well too, and they're really cool guys. They're good friends. They're kind of a team, and they over there at Sip and Shine Racing. But yeah, we hope to see all these guys back. Especially Tony. A lot of us, in the real life NASCAR garage know each other. Me, Roger, Matt Hendricks, Tony, Daniel, George, Bailey, Kyle. So it's fun to it's fun to see these guys come out here and do good and have fun. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about having fun. I know we get frustrated at times and we can bicker, but really, it's just it's a hobby. It's supposed to be entertaining and kind of take your mind off the real world, especially with everything that's going on right now. So it's been a hell of a rookie class, and they're going to be hopefully be here for a while. So we'll follow up with that. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the third or the second round, which ultimately gave us our final four, which we've covered it quite a bit now. And yeah, we talked about Kyle Weatherman getting the big upset win last, but I don't see him in the Discord right now to get an interview. So we'll just go ahead and pull up one of our final four contenders I see sitting in the interview waiting room. That's the number 33 car of Josh Cully for Sip and Shine. We'll go ahead and pull him up in here. The winner of the World 300 at Charlotte, as well as the Southern 250 at Darlington, 2 crown jewels in one season. But you've made it to the Final Four, buddy. It's been a hell of a run. You've got the most top tens in the whole league this season. So yeah, we're just talking a little bit about your wins and your season and how you've liked it so far here in the ITRL.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Yeah, man, it's been a wild season. The win at Charlotte, was awesome. Just the prestige of that event, and then Darlington. I don't know. I had the car to win there, but without a little luck, you can't do much. So I kind of got lucky at Darlington, but the whole season we've just been trying to race smart and try to be there at the end. A lot of guys race hard early, and once the fast repair went away, that didn't work out so well. So we started just trying to save our stuff for the end and trying to be there at the finish.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like we were kind of talking about just stats and who really the Final Four in particular. But you've got these 9 top tens, which is actually tied with your teammate Ron Peplinski. Unfortunately, he missed the Final Four by just 1 point to none other than you. It was pretty close battle there at Bristol to come down to the transfer spots. So you've just been consistent, man. You've been plugging away. Got those 2 wins, like you said, which is tied for the most with Sean and Dalton and Storm. Actually, all 4 people have 2 wins. But you got those all them top tens and top fives and playoff points, and just you really didn't have. I'm looking at the numbers. Like you really didn't have a stellar round of 8, but 10th place at Richmond, and then you get a 7th at Watkins and a 7th at Bristol as well. But I know you get a lot of stage points every race, and I guess that was kind of the difference. But you were able to squeak by into the Final Four by just 1 point. So I'm sure that was a little nerve wracking.
Yeah, I knew we were on the bubble there. I don't know. Watkins, man, it could have turned out a whole lot worse than it did. So I was happy to come away there with the 7th. But Richmond, I thought I could have done a lot better. I pit late, and I shouldn't have. And then Bristol was. You never know what's going to happen at Bristol. So just to finish, there's an accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And but yeah, I mean, pretty much been trying to cover the season, getting a lot of winners up here. I see some more people in the waiting room. But anybody else you want to, or anything else you want to say, or thank, or just talk a little bit about the season.
Definitely a shout out to you guys. It's one of the probably most race etiquette leagues I've been a part of. I haven't been around a long time. I think when I met you, I was when I first started, and that was racing trucks. Um, and
Yep.
that was when I first got into it. But I met up with Pimpolinski. It was a bummer he didn't make it into the Final Four. And I mean, to come down to one point just shows that every race, every position, it all adds up and it all matters at the end of the day. So it was a bummer he didn't make it, but it was close. There was a few races where I had bad finishes and he had bad finishes that we could have done something different, yada yada. But hindsight's always 2020, and I don't know. I enjoy watching the broadcast with Grissip, so that's always cool to go back and watch that. And I look forward to next season. I think I should be able to cover my entry fee pretty easy. So, um, but yeah, I think tonight it should be a pretty interesting race. It's going to be interesting to see who wants to push hard and who's going to do what and what's going to happen and how it all plays out. And it should be good. Hopefully, we can make something happen. And I'm going to guess and say a rookie might win the championship tonight. You got a 50-50 chance there, so I'll take that gamble.
Yeah, jumping into how the race is going to run tonight. Like, what's your strategy for tonight's race?
Stay out of trouble. Make it to that pit window at the end, and then see what we can do.
Yeah, just looking back at kind of the trends of the first 3 seasons of finale races, really tends to go green. We don't see a lot of cautions normally. I mean, we'll have the 2 stages tonight, lap 30 and lap 60, but other than that, we don't tend to see a lot of accidents or wrecks. So hopefully that kind of continues. We've kind of been on that trend last couple weeks in general. Just very few cautions and long green flag runs and green flag pit stops. So I mean, to me that's fun. I like seeing that. It's kind of makes it the strategy part and the consistency part matter in the race. So hopefully we end up seeing that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I hope we get some green flag pit stops. That can make or break your race right there. So definitely brings a whole nother a whole other spectrum into the race. As if you have green flag stops and you got to get on and off pit road, and when you stop and all that comes into play. So that could bring strategy into it quite a bit if we get some long green runs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, man, like I said, congrats. I mean, on a hell of a season so far, nonetheless. Where you finished tonight, 2 wins, big wins at that. Very consistent season, made the Final Four in your rookie season, like you said, and we kind of touched on that earlier. How strong this rookie class was with you, Ryan, and Sean, and Dalton, and Tony, and a lot of those guys. But we appreciate having you, man, and thanks for joining the podcast tonight. And we really, enjoy having you in the league. I hope you and Ryan come back next year with Sip and Shine Racing for season 5, and also continue to enjoy the ARCA series that we've had going on here the last couple of weeks. But appreciate having you, man, and we hope to, have you around for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. We plan on sticking around, and yeah, that ARCA race was a blast. My car was sideways a lot, and that made for a good time. So having fun with it, and plan on sticking around for quite a while.
Yeah, and also, if there was a most popular driver vote, it'd be you, because every time in the YouTube chat on the broadcast, you got fans, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they all come from exactly, but I know there's a few people on there commenting.
Well, once again, appreciate having you, man, and best of luck tonight.
All right, thanks, guys. Yep, good luck to you guys too.
Good luck.
All right, that was the driver of the number 33 Chevrolet for Sip and Shine Racing, Josh Cully, Final Four contender. All right, well, as we move along, looking at some of the guys we got a couple playoff drivers down there want to interview, so I think we'll pull up Mr. Scott Wise, driver of the number 31 Torque Wrench Motorsports Chevrolet. Made the playoffs, kind of absent in it though. He's sitting 16th behind Donald Sadusky, but you got that top 5 at Homestead. and it wasn't enough to make it into the round of 8. But still, nonetheless, good season so far. 16th in points. Thanks for coming here, Scott, and just talk a little bit about your season and yeah.
Scott.
Scott Wise, you get a copy. All right, well maybe we've lost Scott, so
Well,
we'll
Sawyer,
try to get
let's
we'll
talk
try to
about
get
the
let's try to
variable that's
all right. We'll try to get back with Scott Wise here in a minute. But okay, what? Go ahead, Chris.
yeah, the variable, the new track layout.
Yeah, absolutely. The new Texas is something. It's quite a bit different than what we're used to. For me in particular, I love the old Texas layout, so it's a lot different. Totally changed the characteristics of the track, but having 1 and 2 so flat where you got to lift, but having 3 and 4 banked enough that you can go wide out, then it definitely shakes things up and makes people drive different totally when you got to drive each end of the speedway, totally different. So I think it'll definitely be interesting. It'll be the first time we've run um, on this configuration. ITRL's actually run at Texas Motor Speedway 3 times in the Premier Series. Aaron Carpentier winning the first race, and then actually Aiden Young winning the next 2. And I don't think either of those drivers will be in the field tonight. So definitely have a new winner at Texas and the first race on the new configuration. But I think it's got a lot of grip, especially once the sun goes down tonight. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I just think turn 1 will kind of break up any kind of draft you can get on the other, 3/4 of the track.
It's gonna be tough tonight, but I can't wait for it.
All right, so we were unable to get in touch with Scott right now. Hopefully, he gets back with us here shortly. But we do have the another playoff driver, driver number 36, JCOM Chevrolet, playoff contender. Made it to the round of 8. Wasn't able to quite make it into the round of 4, the final round. But nonetheless, solid season. 2 top 5s, 6 top 10s. Second place at Martinsville. Trestonot, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, glad to have you. And we were talking a little ITRL racing here, and talking about the season. We kind of reviewed all the races, had a couple of winners on here. We've had some playoff drivers and made the playoffs pretty comfortably. And even though being the 15th seed starting out with no playoff points, you're able to kind of claw your way into that round of 8, and muster up everything you could to get in that round of 4, but just came up a little bit short on the points side. But nonetheless, good season. And yeah, just kind of talk about your season.
It's been a up and down, kind of frustrating season. Made it into the round of 8, but can't sit here and not thank Tony Constantino for subbing me for that. Couldn't have done it without him. Didn't have the consistency I really wanted this year. Didn't had some good races. I didn't finish the way I wanted. Very very glad to be with y'all again at JCOM, and had a good year. Just couldn't get that win. It's very close a couple times, but just threw it away too many times and didn't take advantage of a lot of opportunities I had. But overall, a good season.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We kind of touched on it with Roger here. Just the JCOM team has been pretty stout with Ray and Roger making the Final Four, and all 3 are making the round of 8, and all 4 of us making the round of 16. So I wish I could pick up my part a little bit this season, but it's just been one of those years with not a lot of luck, and you'll have that. But ultimately, like I said, you got that win last year, that first win. You made the playoffs in your rookie year, but got the win after you were eliminated. But then come out this year and still put up some good numbers. I know it feels good. And on the team standing side, JCOM 34 points ahead of M&M Motorsports with 1 race left, getting a good spot to wrap that up as well. So more accolades for the team, and I know along with myself, probably hope do everything we can tonight to help Roger Diebold or Raymond Rittner come home the champion.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's about tonight. Just getting one of them across the line first, and just get a championship for JCOM. Just have a good race and have some fun.
Yep, absolutely, and still got another chance tonight to get to victory lane. I know everybody that's not in the Final Four, that's their only goal is to go out there and win and get that dub, kind of salvage the season, and finish as highest in points as you possibly can. But yep, other than that, I mean, just kind of chit chatting up here about some ITRL racing. Got anybody you want to thank or anything else you want to say? Just go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to thank you and Dylan, Grissa, Alex, everybody who's been doing all the graphics and the streaming on YouTube and just putting it all together for us. No, not a lot of people know how much work that takes, and I really appreciate it.
Well, appreciate having you, and thanks for being part of the league. And good luck tonight, and as well as the ARC season that's continuing and season 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm having a lot of fun with the ARCA season. I'm excited to see what that how that unfolds next couple weeks.
10-4. All right, I'm gonna pull up. We're speaking of the ARCA series, ITRL ARCA series commissioner, driver as well on the Premier Series side of the number 69 HRE Ford Mustang, Matt Hendricks. You got a copy there.
Yep.
So we just kind of recapped and covered the season 4 of the Premier Series and talked to some winners, talked to some playoff drivers. So now we're going to talk about a little bit about the ARC series, newly formed, just started out, fresh out of the oven. Just kind of talk a little bit about it and just tell us where the future of that heads and what we got to look forward to.
Well, it was really a brainchild of me and you, Sawyer. I mean, we were on the ARC car with a bunch of veterans, and then we're throwing in new guys that we want to bring up the ladder through the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series to the Premier Series. So it's a nice blend of new and old, some tracks we normally don't go to, stuff like that. So it's just a cool little experience. And I've actually stepped out of the car to go behind the scenes and do all the race control stuff. And it's been a learning experience. So I have just a little bit of stuff I got to do behind the scenes more, but it takes just a different type of skill set to do all the admin stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll chime in and just say that adminning races is something that you don't really know what it takes until you just actually have to do it. And it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. A lot of voices in your head or in your ear telling you things, and admin, especially when you have multiple people. But you got drivers, saying oh this or that, and it's definitely a lot more than you think about. It makes you appreciate it, but it is fun. I mean, I think if you have that type of mindset, then you can find it enjoyable. I know I do, and I know Dylan has done it for a while, so I think he has to like it a little bit, or he might have quit a long time ago. But he does a great job, and Matt, I think you've done a great job so far in the first 2 races at Daytona and Phoenix. Really great races. I mean, pretty exciting Daytona, Phoenix, kind of like your typical Phoenix race, but nonetheless been some good racing, and hopefully we continue that throughout the season. We still have 8 more races.
Yep, we got 8 more races starting next week. We'll actually double up, so we'll be racing Mondays and Tuesdays. So it'll be an interesting experience there. And we've also recently added breaking news. We're adding a dirt track to the schedule to go full ARCA. So we'll have super speedways, short tracks, dirt tracks, and road courses. So it'll be all fully well rounded when we get done with it.
Nice.
Yeah, certainly, certainly looking forward to a dirt race in a stock car. That's going to be super fun. I mean, we've had the trucks for a while, but to run any kind of stock cars is going to be something different, something new for all of us that have been on iRacing for a while. So definitely looking forward to that. Speaking of dirt, Dylan, are you there? We haven't heard anything from the count himself this whole time. Just trying to make sure you're still there, buddy.
The count's just been in the background lurking.
What do you think about this dirt race? That's kind of your territory, right?
Yeah, that's where I came from with iRacing was dirt, family, lineage and dirt and everything. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I've done truck races and stuff on the dirt, and it's a handful. These cars are not made for the dirt, so it'll probably be very entertaining to watch. I don't know how much fun it'll be to drive though.
Well, and to get into that part, you've actually stepped out of the admin tower for this series and gotten back into the famous number 8 car. So how's that been transitioning back, out of the booth, out of the tower, back behind the wheel in these cars, in the ARCA cars nonetheless with the new damage model and everything? How's that been?
It's been interesting, especially since I stepped away from racing full time before the new tire model and especially the damage model. So it's been interesting coming back into the fold and having to contend with that. But I mean, I've just been doing my best trying to work through it. The pictures that are being shown on stream are of my car being destroyed backwards. So you can say that I've had some issues coming back, but it's been interesting. I love the new damage model. Uh, Seeing a hood fly up is just insane to see. I will
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, the damage model is pretty sweet, not gonna lie. Um, it's unfortunate we're on the receiving end of it, but it's cool to look at though. But speaking of drivers that have kind of taken a break for a little while and come back, if he's got a copy, we'll try to get on here real quick with the driver number 20 car, Patrick Langley, 4-time Premier Series winner, All-Star champion. You got a copy there, Pat? Patrick Langley, you got a copy? Have some technical difficulties there. He's there, but yeah, Langley, you have yourself muted.
P-Star, where you at, man?
What an entrance to come back.
Yeah, the comeback kid
Honest,
himself.
I mean, he's just relearning everything, guys. Just give him a break. He may not be able to find the button.
There he
There it
goes.
is.
Known for running his mouth, but can't say anything.
The mobile app's a lot different than on the computer. So
Welcome back to the ITRL, Patrick Langley.
it's good to be back with all my boys. It was a good race last night. It felt good to get back in the seat, man, to be back with everybody. Just a community that I've missed. It's got a special place in my heart. But I always want to beat everybody that I'm talking to right now for sure. So it's been a good season. I followed it definitely on the Road Up Racing Network. I've watched every race. It's been competitive all year long. Dalton Tucker had something special for you guys this year, but seems like he's faded out towards the end and hadn't been able to make it count when it mattered most. So the championship floor is going to be competitive. I'm excited to watch that tonight. But yeah, man, it's good to be back, and cheers to the boys. Good to see y'all, man.
Yeah, glad to have you, man. Glad to have you back and on the podcast. We've been talking about podcasts for a while, and finally just did it and got everybody together. But yeah, it's been a great season, man. Haven't been the same without that number 20 car leading laps and contending. But I know you'll be competitive in this ARCA series once we get that really going, and you'll be back for season 5 even stronger. Um, Real quick, I see him down there. Let's see if we can get a copy with him. Hey, Sean, you got a copy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah. We got the driver, the number 34 Toyota Camry, Final Four contender, 2-time winner on the year at Canada and Watkins Glen. Sean Bounty, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Good to have you. We've just been kind of talking a little ITRL here, reviewing the season, the playoffs, talked a little ARCA. So, yeah, man, just glad to have you up here. I want you to talk about your wins this year. You got 2 wins as a rookie in the Cup side and both on road courses. You got a couple wins in the Rush, too. And then you also won the season opener ARCA Series race last week. So, yeah, just talk a little bit about your wins and your season so far, man, your time in the ITRL.
It's been fun. It's been an interesting roller coaster ride. Like you said, the 2 wins in the road course. I love the road courses. Always have fun at the road courses, but I mean, I started doing 24-hour endurance races on iRacing a couple years back because I needed a lot of practice, and doing a bunch of those has really helped improve the game. But them cup cars are a handful with the weight distribution, and so the only thing I try to do on those road courses is just try to keep the car on the track, and fortunately just slowly improved on that. And that, both of those races, on the road course, Watkins Glen and Canadian Tire, um, I almost kind of backed into those with slip ups. I mean, I had my own slip ups at times, but uh, that one race with Diebold coming to the checkered flag, it was real close. And in some matter of feet, if it wasn't for Storm being on my tail at Watkins Glen all the way through after we made our pit stop, I don't think I would have caught Diebold, because I probably wouldn't have been running the pace to try to stay in front of Storm. To even catch him, and it didn't even cross my mind that somebody was going to try to make it all the way, until he got crossed the line for one to go. And the only thing in the back of my mind was, don't get right behind him and he just run out of gas and take all three of us out. But yeah, it was an interesting season. There were a lot of races. Like, you guys know, I kind of came out the gate really hard charging, and not arrogant, but just confident, and felt fast. There was a lot of races in those in the trucks and the rush where I felt like I was dominating the race, and the check or the caution flag would come out at the wrong time, and I'd get trapped a lap down or get backed up into the field. So it's a lot of coulda wins there, and that's kind of what I focus more on. I think any driver might. I remember those ones that didn't happen more than the ones that did. But as soon as I came to the Premier Series, the beginning of this year, first time rookie, I was either leading or in second in the first two races, coming to the white flag, and get hooked and turned around. And by the third race, I was 27th in points, and just needed a long, steady run back up the board if I had a chance.
Yeah, I remember that. At the beginning of the year, me and you both kind of had some rough goes, being up front at Daytona, and got not getting the finish in there. I'm looking at your finishes this year. You came out of the gate with a pair of 27th, so I know that's not where you run, or where you were running, or where you normally contend. And then you kind of got back on your feet there with the fifth at Indy. I remember that because I finished fourth. Was both kind of our first good run of the year, and then kind of dipped back off at Charlotte 24th. But it's like Talladega got back 13th, okay, decent, and then it was like you got that win at Mosport up in Canada, and once you got that win, it's like you had 11th at Martinsville. Which I remember you were dominating the Martinsville race at the truck series, and got kind of shuffled back, and I ended up winning that one somehow. But
Yeah, we were up there at the Martinsville and Cup. We were always with Storm and Dalton, and halfway through that race, Dalton and I both picked it up, and I just stayed on his tail the whole time. And we pitted and a caution come out, and all of a sudden we're back in traffic, and both he and I got taken out. So some of those finishes, there's a couple of them, I'd finish outside the top 5 that were just hard tracks for me to get around, just a couple of them, and then the rest were
right. When you got the win at Martinsville and the Rush Series as well, so you got a solid 11th place finish there, and then the regular season finale, getting that top 5, and then it's like kind of picked it up from there. You come out of the playoffs, 4th at Darlington, 12th at Talladega, and 7th at Homestead, enough to get you into that second round, that round of 8, which you kind of lit it up, man. Third at Richmond, and then you backed it up with a win at Watkins Glen, and at that point you're locked in. So Bristol's not what it should have been, but you got 18th there, but you were locked in. So
yeah,
you kind of heated it up once the playoffs started, though.
Bristol, I just wanted to run well, and pretend like I didn't win the race to see if I could just see how well I could cruise my way in. And I think it was like top 4 or 5 the whole race up until late in the race. There was right in front of us on a restart, a couple cars just spun the tires, and that was kind of happening all night. Just got caught up in that deal.
So heading into the Final Four, you got Texas tonight, another mile and a half. New configuration, Texas. At that, but you got Josh Cully. We talked to him earlier. He won Charlotte earlier, which is probably the most similar track we've had this season to Texas, and he got the win there, and then Roger got the win at Kentucky, another mile and a half. So coming in, you got 2 wins, but both being on road courses, and then Ray, on the other hand, his only win was at a super speedway. So how do you kind of approach this race? How do you look at it? Like, who do you think's the favorite, and what's your strategy going to be?
Um, it's an interesting one. I'm gonna make it up as I go along. um, you guys were talking about how earlier the rookies might fare in a later series, and somebody was mentioning, it depends on what curveballs iRacing throws at us with some updates. And I remember Texas, and along with Homestead and a few other tracks, early on when I first got into iRacing, Homestead was one of my best tracks when it first came out, and I didn't know why. It was just really great. And the first time iRacing implemented a new tire model, it went from one of my favorite tracks to a track that I could barely manage, like mid pack. They've done lots of different iterations of the tires and the car and a whole bunch of things, just trying to adapt to that. So with that, that said, and there's a new Texas. I have not officially ran on the new Texas yet. I don't like to kind of over practice races before I get into them. I kind of just wait until the server opens, so the conditions are like what I'm gonna know it is. The information I'm gathering is fresh in my head right before the race. So I try not to overplan, overthink about what's going on. I know that he started implementing the no reset policy. Um, the races have slowly started to clean themselves up, and at the same time, once they started cleaning up, I felt more comfortable that even if I got in traffic, it for most of the time it wasn't going to be as bad as it was when we started, with the amount of cautions that were at the beginning of the season. So it helped, kind of like if I got in trouble, I could get back through the field, and there was a good fight, a good chance to go through the field. Right now, the only thing that I'm kind of worried about is, like, I'm not too concerned about what the other chase drivers are doing, just kind of making sure I don't make mistakes, and don't get caught up in any lap traffic, or don't make a pit stop that puts me deep into the field. And a lot of it's going to be on luck. Make a pit stop if it goes under green, and then all of a sudden caution comes out and you're mid pack and you start racing desperately. So I'm just kind of racing myself, kind of racing the demons, in which make you panic if you get in these bad situations.
Absolutely, man. That's I think that's the best strategy you can have, really, going into this race. It's kind of crazy having one race championship basically, but anything can happen. We saw last year, the the third stage, the final stage from stage 2 caution on, went green all the way. Had some fuel mileage. It came down to fuel mileage, with myself actually winning. Raymond Rittenauer finishing second, winning the championship, and I think JD Crow finished third. I don't remember the most of the top 5, but it was kind of flip flop from the guys that have been running up front, like Dave Matson and Eric Trapeau, that had been dominating, and Langley and Kevin Hash the whole night. I think finished outside the top 10, just basically because of not having cautions. I mean, we topped off at 1 to go at the stage break, not thinking anything of it, and then it runs green, and you only have to make 1 stop when everybody else has to make 2 stops, and that can happen. Like I said, that totally flipped the championship upside down last year. It could happen again. I think the season before that, we saw quite a few late race restart, like cautions. So we had a lot of restarts that Donald Sadusky was able to capitalize and win that one. So
the Darlington race comes to mind specifically about that circumstance. Is me and Calvin were in our channel, and there was a caution. There were two cautions just outside our fuel window, and I pit on one prior, and I'm thinking, we're definitely going to have to pit again. So when the second caution within that last pit window range came out, Calvin was in that situation where he was running third, and he was going to come down pit road with just a couple cars and start deep in the field. And I'm like, your day's kind of done. But it turned out that you know that probably would have been the winning move of the race. And I just drove by pit road thinking, yeah, and it just goes green the whole rest of the race. It just goes green all the way to the finish, and here you are running out of gas right at the end, and you got that crazy finish.
Right, exactly. I mean, for me, that's why I love racing. I think that's why most people tune in because you never know. And it's not over until that checkered flag falls, and anything can happen. I think tonight's going to be a wild test of that. Texas Motor Speedway, ITRL Championship 200. Got the Final Four, Roger Diebold, Sean Bounty, Ray Rittenauer, and Josh Cully. Appreciate having you, man. Thanks for joining us on the podcast. We're going to try to get a couple more interviews in real quick here. We got practice coming up in about 25 minutes, so I'm sure you need to start preparing for that. But thanks for coming on, man. It was a blast. And anybody else you want to thank?
Um, yeah, you guys put on a lot of hard work getting this whole deal going. I brought a friend in who was hesitant about doing league racing, and you guys started that ARCA series, and thought that was a perfect opportunity for him to not feel intimidated by all that's going on and the pressure of the league racing, and that's been fun. So that gave him a start too into doing something more serious. And you guys are just there for a bunch of guys, not too seriously, not too laxed. Just kind of a nice sweet spot there, and you guys put in a lot of work putting that together. And I know what it takes. Been back there, done a lot of work behind the scenes before. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, man. That means a lot, and we appreciate having you in the league, and hope to see you around for many seasons to come. And as well as Dan, we've enjoyed having Dan Half on the ARCA side, and I look forward to racing with him for a long time. But yeah, man, thanks for coming on the broadcast. Thanks for running this season with us, and best of luck to you tonight. Trying to get that championship.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, so next up, I think we got him now. Let's see, Scott Wise, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, we got Scott in the house, driver number 31, Torque Wrench Motorsports Chevrolet. Made the playoffs, currently 16th in the points. Got that top 5 at Homestead, back at Homestead. So, yeah, just talk a little bit about your season, Scott.
Kind of started off a little rough, although we had decent stage runs at Daytona. Wound up getting caught up on a couple of things. Didn't quite get the finish that me or my team deserved, but started out rough. But teammate Dalton won us a couple races, first ones for our team. Made round 2 of the playoffs with a commanding win. It was good to see. Yeah, just been kind of rough. We've had good cars, just haven't really had the luck. Made a couple mistakes along the way, but trying to finish out the season strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Said, Torque Ranch coming from the last couple of seasons to this season, a big improvement. You said multiple wins, lots of top 5s, top 10s, poles, stage wins, you name it. Had an early run, going there for the team title. Kind of slipped back to 5th now at this point. Probably pretty solidly in 5th. With one race left. But like you said, ultimately you're still able to get yourself, into the top 16 for the second season in a row. You're making the postseason. I know that's big for the 31 car, as well as you brought on Dalton for the 88, and he kind of blew everybody out of the water there. But don't forget about the 94 car. Brought the 94. You've had Brandon on for I think the whole time, but this year the 94 has been pretty fast, making the playoffs as well. Currently sitting 12th in points and got some good top fives and top tens run. We just brought up Brandon Kloosterhoos, another driver, another Torque Wrench Motorsports driver, pilots the 94 car. Brandon, you got a copy?
That I do, Sawyer. How's it going?
Good, man. We've just been talking a little ITRL here. Got your team captain, Scott Wise, kind of reviewing his season. I figured two Torque Wrench Motorsports drivers, we can kind of get y'all here at once. We've only got about 20 minutes till practice starts. So, yeah, just talk a little bit about your.
Well, it definitely started out strong. Couple top fives, top tens. I've definitely improved over the last couple of years. Every year seems to be a step up with making the playoffs this year. But that's where the season seemed to have fallen off a cliff with two wrecks in the first two playoff races. I was just basically out of it. So, just try to build off this year and try to make it to the round of 8 next year and hopefully round of 4 after that.
That's all you can do. But I mean, like you said, after your first couple seasons in the ITRL, I think this has been by far your best, most improved. Getting two top fives. You got third at Kentucky, fourth at Kansas, and then as well as some five top tens. In all, you've had, like you said, you kind of started the playoffs out there with two DNFs, and that set you behind the 8 ball. But I'm sure as well as kind of talked to Scott and a lot of drivers tonight that you got one more shot. Texas Motor Speedway here in about a little over an hour. You have one more shot to go get you a win, or at least cap the season off with a solid finish.
Oh, and that's the goal here. Hopefully, Carol Baskins will be in victory lane at the end of this one.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate having you, Scott, and you, Brandon. Gonna quickly get we can get we got a copy from Donald Sadusky as well as Dave Matson. Y'all.
Yes, sir.
So we got Dave Matson up here, owner, M&M, or co-owner, I guess, of M&M Motorsports, driver the 27 Chevy. Pulled up Don here. I don't know if he's available, but he drives for Dave. And so anyway, Dave, we've just been kind of talking a little bit about the league and the season. I know you've had a rough season. You started out with some bad luck, but you've climbed up in the points. You've had some good runs. You've got a couple poles now. You've got a couple stage wins. I know that win. You're used to winning every season, and it's been a rough one for you, but you still shown the speed that you have.
Yeah, the last two seasons have been kind of rough. We've noticed we had a pattern here going on that we're not so great in the beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden, toward the end of the season, we start picking it up. But that needs to change, and there's been a little bit of lack of enthusiasm on my part. I have to admit that much. There's been a lot going on with the new house change and the new relocation and everything else. So it's just been kind of hectic, and I guarantee you that come this next season, there's going to be a renewed vow to get back on there and get back to the old ways and put a little more concentration onto actually racing and winning. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you've been here since the start. We appreciate having you and Kelvin over there at M&M, and y'all been one of the strongest competing teams I think every season. So appreciate having you, and hopefully we see you for many seasons to come. But what are the plans or immediate moves for M&M going forward? I know we've got the ARCA series going on. We saw you out there last night, and so what does the future hold for M&M?
Well, we gotta make it out of this season first, and then we're gonna look at our roster. We gotta look at Donald, talk to Sean, and see what their plans are. Kelvin and I are definitely going to stay here. We don't know about Don. We don't know about Sean yet. We've been talking. So, the way it goes is that we leave it up to them. Yeah, we'd like to have them stick around, but that's their choice. What goes on? So we'll talk off season and see how it goes. We definitely want to. I'll be here for the ARCA season for the rest of the season. Had a little bit of a hiatus on Mondays there for a little while, trying out just to do a little something different. And I like this new ARCA season. I like the new damage model. I like the new tire model that's on it. And last night was a lot of fun. Although I still can't understand why there's so much grip on the wall down the front stretch. I cruised it twice, and it just drags you down. And my only thing was to make sure that nobody else got involved on it. So, no, I think we'll be good. Even if we end up with 2 or 4, we'll be back next year. We'll get more committed. We have a lot of work tonight. We 34 points, I think we're behind you guys at JCOM for the team. So hopefully we're going to have a strong showing, and we're going to come out victorious on that team championship.
There you go. Yep, 34 points on the team side, and you got the 34 car in the final four. So looking for the driver and the team title tonight. M&M Motorsports. Appreciate having you, Dave. Real quickly, we got practice in about 15 minutes. So thanks for coming on, man. Anybody else you want to thank?
Yeah, Kelvin for sticking around. You guys for putting all in this league, and Rubbered Up Racing Network for broadcasting every week. U.S. Navy, of course, all got to love all, not just the Navy, but all of our armed forces for the dedication that they do in day out. So,
Absolutely, amen to that, and appreciate your service, Dave. Thanks for coming on. All right, we got 15 minutes for final practice for the ITRL Championship 200 at Texas Motor Speedway, the 15th and final race of Season 4, the ITRL Premier Series. Man, this time has flown by. We've been on here about an hour and 13 minutes, or actually almost about an hour and 20 minutes. But real quick, let's get our final thoughts in here. I think we've covered pretty much everything, covered the season, tonight's championship race, as well as the ARCA Series. Got a lot of interviews in, so real quickly, we'll go down the list, starting with the Storm Patterson, and we'll just kind of give your thoughts on the season and what you expect tonight, and the ITRL going forward, as well as make your championship pick and your race winner pick. If they happen to be the same, then say that. If not, if you have 2 different, then go ahead with that. We'll start with Storm.
I think this season's probably been one of the best ITRL seasons, period. Not to mention the rookie class. Also, on top of that, and just the competition in general has been tenfold what it was last season. But yeah, honestly, for tonight, championship-wise, I gotta give it to the 25 Roger Debo. I think he's a Mr. Fan favorite here. Maybe not the results, but definitely number 1 in our hearts. But for race winner, I'll go with me. I mean, I feel pretty fast at Texas, but yeah, those are my.
We'll go Storm. Storm's got Roger Dodger, Mr. the Bulldozer, getting the championship, and himself, the 06 machine, getting the race win. So move on down. Alex, go ahead.
Well, this season, I would say, has gone by pretty well. And if I had to pick anyone, I am sorry, Roger. I'm going to pick the most consistent driver all season, and that was Josh Colley. He has the best average finish, and he's just been consistent. I'm going to go ahead and give that race win, though, to super sub himself, Tony Castantino.
Ooh, interesting pick. Kind of an upset there. Another first-time winner, potentially. Another rookie winner. Good picks, though. I like that. Cully and Tony for Alex. All right, Patrick Langley.
Yeah, man, this has been the longest season I've never been a part of. I can't wait to get back out there, but the racing's been good. It's been some new competitors out there, new faces. It's good to see some new faces out there always. We encourage everybody to check out Iron Thunder Racing League on Facebook, Rubbered Up Racing Network on YouTube. We're always open to accepting new members. But yeah, man, I'm ready to get back out there. It's going to be a good race tonight. My pick, when you look at, how everybody approaches these races, and when you look at the results and who's hot, who's not, who's consistent, it's going to be wide open tonight. But I think you got to give the edge to Mr. Sean Boundy. That's going to be my race winner and my championship pick tonight. But my heart's pulling for Roger Diebold, of course.
Oh man, I'm just tickled to death, guys. I appreciate it.
That's a strong pick. Championship. Patrick's picking the championship winner, the champion, to win the race, which, by the way, has never happened in 3 seasons. So maybe this will be the first time it happens. The champion will win the race. So
I will
next
say
up,
this: if it does go down to a fuel mileage race, you cannot go wrong with Mr. Raymond Rittenhauer.
that's right, he did it last year. I think you know all too familiar. But all right, so next up, Roger. Unfortunately, we're not going to let you pick because, well, if you didn't pick yourself, then I'd fire you. But I'll go next. I mean, obviously, I have a little bit of bias with the 87 and the 25 car. So, I mean, I think they're going to win. I want them to win. But just in all fairness, I'm going to go with my buddy Josh Cully. Like Alex said, he's been the most consistent. He's got the best average finish, mile and a halfs. He's really stout. He won Charlotte. That's the closest track to Texas. I'm going to pick him for the championship, but I am going to pick an upset winner for the race. That's the '05 car, Bailey Curry. He was close last week, got second. He gets it done, gets the win at Texas. That's what I'm going with. Cully for the championship, Curry for the win. That's what I got. So next up, Tristan. You go ahead with your picks.
Well, season's been a fun one, but when it comes down to it, I think you can say he doesn't have the results, but the numbers don't lie. Six top fives, 8 top 10s, and a win don't lie. I really think Rogers got it. I think he's gonna get it. I think he's gonna do it in a win as well.
Ooh,
That's what I like to hear.
big
Got you.
predictions. Big predictions
Don't make me
out of the
look dumb.
36. All right, so we got all different. Everybody's gotten some championship favoritism except for Ray. So we got three more picks left. Got Chris, Matt, and Dylan. So Chris Gale, you're up next.
Yeah, the season's been great. Fastest season I've been a part of. But my championship pick will be Ray because he's proven that he can do it. He's going to do it again, and he's going to be the first champion to go back to back in the ITRL. And race winner, you can't go wrong with the 42 car.
I like it. I like it. Gale wins the first race and the last race of the season, and Ray goes back to back on the championships. I like it. All right, next up, Matthew Hendricks.
So, raced with them a lot a couple weeks ago at Texas. This is my race winner. For me, it's a toss up between one of my teammates and a guy who also drives for me. So, I'm in a weird position. I'm like Dale Earnhardt, where I drive for one team and own another. But I'm going to go with Kyle Weatherman. He's going to win the race. He's going to go back to back. He's going to throw a big stink to everybody else. And for my championship pick, I am going with the man who did it last year, Mr. Consistent. Mr. Where did he come from? Because he's never up front at the beginning of the race, but he always shows his face at the end. I'm going with Ray for the championship.
I get some love for the defending title holder, Ray, and I like that back-to-back wins for Kyle Weatherman. All right, last pick, Dylan.
Yeah, with me, the race winner is the more difficult one to pick. I mean, Kyle's been insanely good since he showed up, as has Bailey Curry these past few weeks. Bailey Curry's really come into his own in the league. So I think I'll follow Matt there. I think Kyle's going to win the race because he's just been up front at every track we've been to the last 3 weeks. And so I fully expect him to do it again tonight. He gets to win. And just like Matt, you can't go wrong with Ray. Ray's won championships in multiple leagues. He knows how to get it done. He proved it last year with the fuel mileage win that he had. And I just feel like everybody else that's in the Final Four don't have the experience that Ray has, and sometimes experience will win out.
I like it. I like it. So overall, we got eight people picking here tonight. Three of them say Raymond Rittenhour is going to go back to back as your champion. Two of them say Roger Diebold is going to get it done. Two of them say Josh Cully's going to get it done, and only one, I'm surprised, but only one says Sean Bounty's going to win the number one seed going in, the most recent winner. But hey, anything can happen. we'll see who looks good after all this is said and done. But ultimately, guys, in review, I think this has been a hell of a broadcast, whatever you want to call it. We've done one a while back, but I think it's been a couple seasons, so we'll call this series 2 of the or episode 2 of the Thunder series. Maybe we can do this a little more often. It's been a blast. Thanks for everybody that came on, all the guys that we picked just now, as well as all the interviews we did with all the drivers, playoff drivers, everybody that came on, everybody that watched, that tuned in. Thank you. It's been fun. We got practice kicking off here in about 4 minutes, so just gonna wrap it up. I think, like everybody kind of said tonight, it's been a great season, big improvement from the start, and hopefully we can do it again for another season, and just cap off the season tonight with a good one at Texas.
Sounds like you either got something you need to get out of the dryer or your Tesla coil just went off there in the background.
I think it's the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did we end it?
Well, was that the end?